Welcome to the Love, Sex and Freedom podcast. This is where you're going to discover how to bring awakening into the body and into everyday life through powerful tantric teachings. Get ready to release, open and step into your true power.
Welcome everyone to this week's live. And we're talking about a very important topic around manifestations. So Raven's going to be guiding us into some experiences around an embodied approach to manifestation. And I was reflecting this morning when I first came across manifestation at least a decade ago with The Secret. And my then husband and I had our vision board, had the car, had the finances, had the house, and was so convinced after watching The Secret. I was like, why isn't this working? And it wasn't until I met you, Raven, and then started to understand the concepts of Tantra and the nervous system that I started to understand that whatever beliefs were actually in my body and in my unconscious and actually running the show, that unless I was also leaning into them and feeling them and clearing them and acknowledging them, then I could do all the positive affirmations in the world and my wiring would just keep me looping back on the same processes and way of really relating to money and experiencing money again and again. So I love this topic. It's completely changed my life working with manifestation through this tantric approach. And I'm really happy that everyone gets to experience this today.
Thanks, Tara. When we're talking about embodied manifestation, it's really taking it out of the thoughts in your mind and into the body. So yes, it's a tantric approach, it's a somatic approach, it's a body-based approach that says that unless you can actually feel and become the person who's in the picture of whatever it is that you're manifesting, whether that's an extraordinary relationship, money, a successful business, a happy, easeful life, whatever it is, if you're just seeing it, but your thoughts are the same as they always have been, then you may feel better by seeing something that is different, a little better, but you're going to continue being your old self, right? So this is really about actually changing your identity. And I've died and been reborn many times, and that death and rebirth has often been focused around whatever it is that I'm wanting to bring forth. So I have a lot to say about this topic. I grew up with a father who was teaching me the principles of manifestation from a very early age. And, what I can say about what I grew up with, which was more of a personal development approach, is that, of course, when we're consciously saying positive thoughts and we're seeing a different life, that is going to create a certain elevation of your vibrational frequency. So I don't want to take away from that. I've always, as a result of, positive affirmations that are geared around a different way of being than whatever I was stuck in, that certainly helped. So for instance, I'm having a really bad day with the kids or something, and I'm noticing the belief, oh my God, I can't believe that this is my life for 20 years. Now, when I change that belief to, wow, I get to see my children grow over the next 20 years, and one day they're going to be adults that I hang out with, which is true, that's happened, and that's amazing. Then I'm then going to feel better as a result of that thought. So positive thinking is really, really powerful. And visualizing is really powerful. But what we need to do is combine those positive affirmations and their visualization with a felt sense of who it is that we are becoming. And in the process of that, as you started speaking into, there are unconscious beliefs that can get in the way of that. So if you're wanting to create and manifest a relationship that is fun, that is easeful, that is deep, that's inspiring, and that is in full resonance, then what you really need to contemplate and bring your attention to is, if that was the reality, how would I feel? And call that in. I'm going to take you into a practice that will support you with all of these concepts. But first, I want all of your minds to understand certain things. Now, the other thing you need to understand, which is probably the most important, is that you need to find the good feelings that go with whatever it is that you're manifesting as something that is available to you now, not as something that you're only going to have when this thing happens. Because if you think that you're going to feel so much better when the relationship is here, or so much better when the money is here, or so much better when you can finally have a child, if you've been struggling to have children, there are all these things that we're wanting. And we have this idea that when we get this external thing, suddenly life's going to be magically better. No, you're still you. So if you feel consistently stressed or down or depressed or anxious, when the novelty of whatever it is that you're wanting comes into your life, you'll have a bit of relief, like we do with all novelty, right? And then you're going to go back to being you. So you need to change. You need to change into the person that would naturally be attracting what it is that you're wanting. So that's super important. Another probably equally important thing is that if you don't have a meditational sense of being in the world, being with life, being with your emotions, then and you can't be in this moment and focused in the body of now, if majority of your time is spent in thoughts, that means majority of your life is spent either in the past or creating scenarios about the future. That is not where manifestation happens. Because when you're thinking about the past, what are you creating? I want you all to just think about that for a moment. So you're lying in bed, you're thinking about all the things that happened that day. You're thinking about, you've got to do this and that. You're thinking about a conversation that you had that maybe triggered you. You're thinking about what someone did wrong. Maybe you're even preparing for communication that's going to happen. You're thinking about an ex, whatever it is that you're thinking about. Where is your energy? Your energy is in the self that you've always been. Your energy is thinking about your past. So guess what? You are recreating your past. So unless you have the capacity to stop letting thoughts guide your reality, you are not going to be able to hold the energy of what you're manifesting. You're going to sabotage it. So an invitation I give to all of you is that after we do this practice, and there'll be an invitation for you to commit to this practice that I'm going to guide you through. After you do this practice, and as you're committing to this practice, the invitation is to also commit to noticing your thoughts and noticing when they're in the past, and then going into future scenarios, which are really just a way to control your life so that you don't have to feel the things that you didn't like, and you can just feel the things that are comfortable, right? So a lot of people's thinking is centered around, how can I avoid feeling uncomfortable, and how can I make sure I always feel comfortable? And Tantra states the obvious that all spiritual traditions state, which is that pain and pleasure is always in the flow of life, and that pain and pleasure can coexist. Pain and pleasure, valleys and peaks are part of life, and actually pain can feel beautiful if we're not in resistance to it. And it has beautiful lessons and doorways to liberation for us. And so does our pleasure, and so does our joy. And so if everyone can close their eyes for a moment and bring your hands to prayer at your heart. And I'm not suggesting that you need to get rid of your mind or let go of your mind. I'm suggesting that you focus on consciousness. So if everyone just focuses on their third eye and really allow this space to come alive, feel this space activating between your eyebrows. And focusing on your breath. Conscious breathing is the simplest, easiest, most effective way to bring yourself into this moment. So let's now bring ourselves into this moment. Let's focus on our third eye. And just start to breathe energy up from the earth as you inhale, expand and open. And then bring your shoulders up and back. Let out some sound and just release any distractions, stresses, with any movement. So breath, sound, and movement are the pillars of any practice when we're held in the tradition of Tantra, and somatic experiencing also allows the body to be involved. So keep taking nice deep breaths in, up through your central channel from the earth. And then as you exhale, bringing the shoulders up and back, relaxing, releasing. And bring your hands to your heart. Keep your third eye open. Keep focusing on your breath, on that third eye, now connecting with the heart and moving the hips around a little and starting to connect with what is it that your heart deeply longs for? What is it that your being desires? What is it that your intuition can see? What is your intention here? What are you wanting to manifest in your life, and why? You know, so many people will say to me, I want to manifest a relationship, I want to manifest money, I want to manifest this, I want to manifest that. And then when I say why, they're not actually clear why. I want you to feel into what it is that you want to manifest. If it's money, what are you going to do with that money? See that, feel that. If it's a relationship, what's happening in that relationship? See that, feel that. And start to see a future version of yourself where you are receiving what it is that you desire. And I want you to imagine that whatever you desire, money, relationship, job, more peace, more joy, whatever it is that feels important right now, most important, I want you to see that as a point of light that's coming towards you and then turning into some kind of representation of that thing. So maybe it's an object, Maybe you can actually see a personification of it. Give it a color. And I want you to start imagining that your root chakra is opening, and whatever it is that you're desiring to receive, a loving, beautiful, fun, deep relationship, $100,000 a month or $10,000 a month, more fun or peace, a car, whatever it is. I want you to welcome that energy into your base chakra. So just imagining your root opening, imagining your asshole, your pussy, your whole area where your body meets the seat, opening up and activating a new level of receiving. And I want you to feel that coming into your body. I want you to feel the energy of whatever it is you're desiring entering through your root chakra. Breathe it into your cells, breathe it into your muscles, and then feel what radiates from you when you're receiving that. And focus on your third eye as well, and see the life that you would have if this was a reality, and feel how you would feel with that life. Tara, if you can bring some sound through, please. And if everyone can keep allowing themselves to receive whatever it is they're deeply longing for, you're deeply longing for, whatever it is you're desiring, feel it coming in your life when you have this. Check out how you would feel. And if there's any tension or contraction, notice that. Fears coming up, notice that. And let the expansion of your vision, the expansion of the good feelings enter your body and enter the fear. And you can release the fear, you can release any of the tension that's coming up with sound, but keep receiving. Tara shifting the sound into more of a song now to support people to fully receive what it is that they're desiring and longing for. Feelings in the felt sense of this vision. Just going to pray with something here where we're allowing the expansion and the joy of whatever it is We're inviting into our bodies, inviting into our lives on the inhalation, and then on the exhalation, if there are any fears coming up, just let the body shake a little. Maybe it's, but am I good enough to attract this? Do I deserve this? Maybe it's, how am I going to do this? I don't feel like I can manage to make this amount of money. Maybe there's fear to let go because you're afraid to even wish for something that's never going to happen. Maybe you're scared that if you have this money, that people will take advantage of you. Who knows? And maybe you're just feeling good with this, and that's okay too. But what we're all going to do together is just around whatever it is, and you can open your eyes for a moment around, and we're going to come back into the creation zone. But for a moment, what I want to really invite you to feel in your body is whatever it is that you're wanting, a relationship or money is usually the two things. I'm going to keep using those as examples, or, your current relationship, for it to be even more amazing. You to feel that beautiful song Tara was singing, the good feelings of what you're wanting to manifest, feel all that in your body, and then just start to move the body and feel where there's a bit of tension from the past, perhaps, like that there's been scarcity connected with money. Because if there's been a lot of worry and scarcity associated with money, right, then we need to bring in the good feelings with money. We need to support our nervous system to expand in its capacity to hold money with good feelings, or you're going to sabotage money continuing to come in. Same with relationship. If things have happened that have really hurt you, disappointed you, you start manifesting that and feeling that and creating that. There's those beliefs Tara was talking about in the body, and those tension points in the body that are also going, if they're not released, they're going to keep perpetuating those beliefs. We create whatever we're believing, including the more negative beliefs from the past that are settled into the body. So let's just take a minute of silence, and whatever historically has been your connection with whatever it is that you're manifesting is likely to be an unconscious belief that is getting in the way of you manifesting it. So if money has always been stressful, then money is stressful will be one of them. If relationships have always left you unfulfilled, relationships are unfulfilling. So just contemplate what yours are. Or relationships are really hard work. Earning money is really hard work. They're always classic ones. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy. Any of that's in your body, I want you to breathe into it now. And we're just going to do some basic express and release tools all together that's only going to make you feel better. So feel how you feel right now. And then I want you to notice how you feel after about a minute or two. We'll see how long it goes for, of discharging the past from your body, discharging stuck energy, discharging tension, discharging stress from the past. Yeah. So the first one we're going to do is just bring your hands to your mouth, and you're going to scream into your hands and give your pelvis a shake. So we hold so much emotion in our hips and in our pelvis. So it's always good whenever you're processing your emotions, whenever you're wanting to feel pleasure more deeply or release pain more authentically, involve the hips, especially, for women. This is where we birth. This is the portal of creation. So let's grab our mouths, cover our mouth, and don't even need to know what you're discharging. You can know if it comes to you, but just feel the past releasing. Feel releasing of the past repeating itself. Feel any tension in the body releasing. And now I want you to stamp your feet wherever you're sitting. Just stamp your feet from side to side as if you're, stepping on the ground, on the earth. Connect with the earth. And like you're running on the earth almost. And then raise your hands like this and just let out some sound and throw a bit of a tantrum. For all the time you wanted. For a seat where you can hit the seat, just punch the seat next to you. And just let out some energy, let out some adrenaline, let out some tension. Now just shake. Release tension in the body with sound, with movement, with deep breathing. Now connect with your heart. Open out. Just feel whatever pain is in your heart that can do with some release. Opening the arms nice and wide. Disappointment, betrayal, sadness, worthiness, any feelings that are in there that and then just stick your tongue out for me and open the door. Now let's give it a few roars. You might feel silly doing this, but if you have done it, just notice how you feel now. Notice how much more alive your body is. Now, that was just 2 minutes of expressing and releasing tension in the body. So just keep noticing how the body feels. And inhaling up from the spine, expanding, opening your third eye into the vision of your future self, exhaling, raising the shoulders and then bringing them down, releasing, relaxing. And see the life that you want. See your future self. Living love, being free. What does that look like for you? Keep inhaling, opening and expanding. Feel this body. Who are you in that picture? Let it feel good. Let it feel good. It's not what's external to you that you want. It's the feelings that you'll have when you get there. And those feelings are available to you now. Feel if you were receiving love in that way? How would you feel if you were receiving that amount of money? How would you feel if you had that thing, if you achieved that goal? Whatever it is, what's the feeling? Call those feelings into your body. Move the hips. Intentionally now connect with the gratitude, joy, and pleasure that you would feel if this was reality. You want to start getting your nervous system used to this, expanding your capacity to hold this. Otherwise, if nothing changes in you when it comes, you'll just find a way to bring yourself back to here, because that's your comfort zone, that's what's familiar, and that's who you are. So we're changing who we are, changing our personality. We're not stuck to how we've always been. Here we are in this new place.
Oh.
And this is a commitment that you need to make to yourself, where you do a practice like this every day. But right now, can you commit to the practice of seeing, feeling, and resonating with who you really are? Because who you really are is what brings you the most amount of joy and pleasure and ease. It's not to say that pain's not going to be there. It's just to say that you're living in alignment, and that the most consistent feeling is joy and pleasure. Even in the storms, you find that. So this feeling of gratitude, joy, and pleasure, this feeling of expansion, with this life that you're seeing, with this every day, you just know that it's true. You know it's going to happen. And when you've done it enough times, like I have, and you've manifested everything that you've intentionally created in your practice, you start to get the memo that this works. Yeah. Taking a deep breath. Feeling gratitude for the feelings that live inside you that are connected with your desires and your longing. Feeling gratitude that the external manifestation of that is already on its way, because you're embodying it. So the universe will respond to what you're resonating with. Yeah.
And just for anyone watching this as a replay, we'll also be launching these lives on our podcast channel in a couple of times. So yeah, go to the podcast channel. There's a wealth of wisdom and Raven's guidance on there again that you can listen to again and again.
And I would like to just share with you all, to give you faith in yourself and faith in this process. As I said, I'd done a lot of manifestation growing up, and, what I would find is that it would always work, but it would be hard to hold on to. Or, sometimes the bigger things wouldn't work, and that it was because I wasn't having the capacity to really purge the unconscious, or the capacity to really have the felt sense of the pleasure and joy that's available to me now that I would have then. And, I want to just share a few personal stories around the big ones, which is my relationship with Matisse is definitely the greatest manifestation of my life. And I was at the point when I got really clear that unless I was in a relationship where I was feeling fully met in my intensity and depth and mystical consciousness, that I didn't want another relationship. I was very clear that, and Aaron really helped me with this because I felt it with him first, that ease needed to be a very strong current in the relationship, joy, playfulness, adventure. And when I was putting out there for my next relationship, the thing that I just kept feeling is exactly what I'm feeling now with Tees, which is that there is, even in the thickest of storms, there is always just this beautiful, consistent resonance, ease, joy, depth, and mysticism that is within both of us, that is holding us both. And then, another thing I really wanted was that we both had a strong autonomy and inner union, and not getting all up in each other's shit and analyzing each other and coaching each other. And I got more in that realm than I could have possibly imagined. And he's taught me so much about communication and vulnerable communication and being able to be real and honest in new ways. So what also happens with manifestation, sometimes we have the feeling of what we want, we have no idea of what that means, and then we're delightfully surprised by what that is. So, with Tees, I didn't know how the fuck in Perth I was going to meet a guy like this, and he literally showed up out of nowhere. And then that's been with all my partners. I've always manifested partners that have quite unique qualities to them. And they literally just show up out of nowhere. So it's having faith. You don't need to know the why. I mean, you do need to know the why. You need to know the why you want it. You don't need to know the how, right? And so with money, I remember when I was manifesting what I'm now earning, I had no idea how I was going to get there. And that was probably the biggest block, right? I kept having this tension in my body. It's like, but how is that even possible? And so you want to let that go through the body, through breath, sound, and movement, and all the fears that come up, which will surprise you. So it's this space of trusting the manifestation process so deeply that you know that if you're committed to your practice every day of seeing, feeling, believing, and resonating with what it is that you're manifesting, that it's going to come. Who knows how, but it's going to come. And it always does. And anyone who talks about manifestation will share with you stories about that. So when I look at my life 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and what I was manifesting, it's all here now. And just remember that important part of your thoughts and not running your life with an allegiance to your thoughts anymore, because that is going to just keep you in this self. And if you don't want to change, if you don't want anything to change, that's okay too. But if you want to change, you need to stop letting thoughts and the plan and the control and everything that comes with all the thoughts. You need to just let that go and use your breath to be living in this moment as much as possible as that future self. And another thing that I find really helpful is to bring into my fields of energy someone who's holding what it is that I'm wanting to manifest. And okay, so just say I'm wanting 50K months, and I know someone who's earning that in a way that is easeful and inspired and serving the world. Then I'll bring that person into my field of awareness and breathe their energy in. That part of the practice where I was getting you to receive that through your base chakra, this is all about receiving, right? We're so often focused on what we can get and making things happen. But actually, if you drop it back to what's in the body, it's actually, I want to receive, and like feeling what you want to receive, but allowing the tantric macrocosmic orbit to be part of that, where you're receiving love, money, whatever it is, and then it's flowing out into the world. And how is that radiating? How is that impacting your life and those around you?
Yeah, and I think on that last point, if you don't have a reference point of what it's like. So I remember a few years ago when I was working with this, and I didn't have a sense of my body of what it's like to be in a relationship where I felt fully met. and there was like a natural resonance, and which was shocking to me. So when I was trying to breathe it into my body, it was like, I don't even know if I have a reference point. So I went on the relationships around me. You and Tees were one, two other friends of mine who have beautiful relationships. So I'm like, that's what I want for myself. And so I would breathe those qualities into my body until then it became mine, and I could get a sense of, oh, wow, this is what it would feel like. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then that, what I'm experiencing now. And I'm just like, this works. This way of manifesting when you're holding that vibration in your body. And for me, what it did is it meant that if I was starting to connect with someone energetically or through conversation who wasn't a match with that, then it was so much easier to say, thank you, no, thank you. Because I could feel that ease in my body. I could feel that alignment kind of with myself, which meant that if I wasn't feeling that with another person, I would become naturally disinterested. Whereas before doing that process, really dedicating myself to that process, I was actually being attracted to that more conflict, not being chosen energy, because that's what was previously familiar to me.
Yeah, beautiful. And, the spaces that you go into that Tara's talking about of the inner conflicts of what we're used to that doesn't feel so good, right? Actually, unless you do your shadow work and unless you're able to dive in, be like a deep sea diver and get curious about all those places, you won't be able to take it as far as you can take it, right? And we've got an 8-week online course, Ignite Your Power, that can really support that process. And it's an interesting thing because you don't want to start judging yourself and going, oh, I don't want to be like that anymore, and resisting these parts. It's actually about loving those parts. So, I would, like Tara, there was a stage in my life where I was attracting trauma bond relationships. And anyone who knows anything about trauma bond relationships, high intensity sexual chemistry, very high intensity sexual chemistry, very addictive, but there's this push-pull energy that's very toxic. But actually, there's such a novelty to the love when it's there, and dopamine release that we get caught in this, and we actually unconsciously don't want to be in the ease because there's so much inner conflict within us. So when you're talking about when we're talking about your relationship to money or to love or to anything in your life, how you do anything is how you do everything, as the saying goes, then really what they're representing, the conflict that shows up or the difficulty in the relationship with money or love that shows up, is a reflection of the inner conflict that you have in here. Right? So if there's always a dissatisfaction inside of you, your relationships are always going to be dissatisfying. If there's always a distrust that money is going to keep coming in, then your relationship with money isn't going to be easeful. So yeah, if right now you're going, fuck, I really need to do some work with the shadows around, whatever you're manifesting, Ignite Your Power. Also, Tara and I do private sessions. So I would highly suggest doing that inner work. It's well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have any questions, Tara?
3 questions.
Mm-hmm.
First one is, how do you filter your ego from your manifestation efforts?
I don't filter my ego. I mean, I don't, it's like, I feel like there's such a deep trust in the body and the innate wisdom in the body and what the body is longing for, that, that's the place where you want to be. And that's usually not ego. But I think once you start thinking about that, it's like, how can I make sure this isn't coming from ego? Like, what's ego? I love Wayne Dyer's definition, edging God out. And when do you feel closest to God? I know that I feel closest to God when I'm in bliss and ecstasy at living the fullest that I can live according to my soul alignment. So anything that I'm feeling from the body of like, this is where the why comes in. It's like, why do I want money? Oh, I want to be able to travel around the world with my kids. I want to be able to support people that I love. I want to be able to be as healthy as possible. I don't want to ever have to not do something because I don't have the money for it. I want to be free. Right. So some people could say that some of those reasons are egoic, and I don't really care. It's like what is alive, what is here. The ego is part of the human experience unless we completely remove ourselves from society. So, one thing that I will say to that is that, if you are really intent on disidentification and complete ego eradication, then you need to let go of all your worldly possessions, and just take it all back to basics and live in a mountain or on the side of the road and really embody that space of nothing external to me brings me joy and happiness, and find that within. And there's many masters who have done that, and that might be your path. It's definitely not mine.
Yeah. And I remember when I first started to work with money, I was like, I felt shame around desiring money, actually, because of the beliefs and conditioning that I had from kind of my spiritual path until the point of Tantra, which was that money is bad. And if you're a true spiritual person and you're on the path of service, then money is evil. You've got to relinquish that. So I think also look at the belief underneath what the potential judgment of ego is.
Yeah, money is not spiritual, or like the other side of it that we get it from our parents is how many of you have heard from your parents, money doesn't grow on trees, you got to work hard for money. So, there's lots of collective beliefs, there's personal beliefs, and it's not about overly focusing on them and resisting them. It's about noticing, seeing that, allowing that to release through the body, and always feeding whatever tension, fear, contraction is in the body with the expansion of the vision that you're wanting to create in the felt sense of that.
Amazing. One of the questions, one of them I feel is encapsulated with this live, which is, what are the manifestation rituals that you find most useful?
Another one is sex magic. It's so amazing to bring the creative force of our sexual energy with someone that we love, and we're merging. And, as energy is building, we're seeing what it is that we want to create. And at the point of climax, really just opening the third eye, seeing that, feeling that. I always know when I see something clearly in a self-pleasure practice or with tease, and I feel it exploding through my body, I'm like, if I had any doubt that that's happening, that doubt is now gone. Because in my experience, that's always huge. And then, new moon is a powerful time. There are different times during the year astrologically that are particularly powerful, but, every new moon, I'm reconnecting either with the intention that I've held and the manifestation, or if that's already there, then I connect with whatever's new that I'm working with. So, yeah, the lighting a candle, lighting a fire, and being outside under the stars, connecting with the moon, and just doing a practice similar to what we just did then. And, meditation. If you don't already meditate, then you need to start, because meditation is the key to what I was talking about around the thoughts that are centered around the past. This is so important. If you're someone who's always looping in what's happened, you're going to keep creating your future based on the past, and it's not possible to manifest something new. So meditate.
And the last one is how to best cultivate and prepare the mind, body, spirit for manifesting. How to prepare and cultivate the mind, body, spirit for manifesting.
I just do it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you would, I don't know if you've got any ideas there, Tara. I don't know how you would prepare for it, and maybe if the person's still online, clarifying. But yeah, just start doing it and know that you're fundamentally worthy of, the most joy, ease, and pleasure that you can possibly experience in this lifetime.
Yeah, and I think it's that. It's like when your body is feeling healthy and nourished and looked after, and you're meditating, and there's that space of presence that you can access, and you are feeling that connection to spirit. I think those things help as a foundation for the practice that you just guided us through, and manifestation rituals.
Yeah, it's like having a center of knowing that you're the creator. Most people are led by a victim consciousness that's controlling their reality based on discomfort and comfort. So it's shifting from victim to creator. And, sometimes I guess the preparation is working with someone one-on-one and really preparing for that, like actually going on a journey of releasing a lot of your parents' beliefs and the conditioning that doesn't serve you, or well-meaning teachers, or the collective consciousness as a whole. There's so much distraction. It's like, oh, check your messages, check your email, go on this, go on that, scroll, compare yourself to this person, that person. So it's blah, blah, blah. It's all just like such a waste of time and energy, like necessary sometimes, but a lot of people I work with, it's about getting off all of the distraction and actually going, okay, I'm the creator. I'm responsible for how I feel and what I'm experiencing. And you really, to get to that point is a state of embodied awakening, because you're no longer resisting your experience or trying to control your experience. And, I know for me that a big shift happened when I stopped trying to control my children, my partner, my business, things external to me, so that I would feel comfortable and just focused here. And it's like, okay, all of this is happening and I need to allow all of that. So, that observer, that meditational awareness. And I've also had to just, like all of us, really take a stand and go, this ends with me. A lot of the generational patterns that have created so much turmoil, unhealthy relationships in romantic relationships, unhealthy relationship to money. Yeah, it's a really big journey. You've got to be patient with yourself and give it time, because you don't want to spend the rest of your life, just doing the same thing that your parents did, but in a different way, because we're the next generation. Of course, we're doing it better, but it's really the same, and okay, this is the same.
Yeah. And was there an invitation that you wanted to give people to how to integrate this into their life or as a practice?
Like that particular thing I just spoke into?
No, what you just guided us through.
But just look that every day, just all you just need to feel this space and prioritize, okay, this is what I'm wanting. I need to give some time and attention to that. And you may not be able to feel it straight away. So all practices, you need to be patient, right? Especially if they're new. You need to bring in breath, sound, and movement, because they're the three portals into transformation and into the body. So, you have an intention, you see the vision, you're connected to your why as to why you're wanting this. You're having the felt sense, you're inviting it into your base, you're letting it settle into your body. You're feeling that orbit of energy, receiving, radiating out, feeling grateful, feeling the pleasure and beauty of that, of how you would feel if that was there. And then any tension or a contraction in the body, releasing that, feeding it with the expansive feelings, and then having gratitude and knowing that this is on its way. This is what's happening. Be curious. Be curious what comes up. If you want to change your life, if you want to truly practice embodied manifestation, you need to be willing to let die the identity that you have clung on to so tightly through your thoughts. So the other invitation is that same one I've said a few times now, which is to stop identifying with your thoughts. Notice when the thoughts are in the past, compassionately come back to the breath. Living here in the now is the answer to fucking everything at the end of the day, right? If you're in the past, and that doesn't mean that you don't get shit done. I get heaps of shit done. I've always got heaps of shit done, and I probably get even more done now that I'm not doing. Like life's just, really opened up in amazing ways. So, part of my manifestation journey has also been slowing down. And one of the fears I had is that everything would crumble, everything would fall apart. And I actually had to be willing for it too, because I was prioritizing the message I kept getting, which was to slow down and stop. But in that space of slowing down, so many things seed. And anything that brings us money in the business that I've seeded has not come from thoughts. It's come from the deep relaxation of spaciousness and consciousness and something coming in. Like everything I create comes from that space now. So just being willing to do the things you need to do and the action you need to take in order for what you're seeing to be a truth. So, I was seeing myself with all of this free time. But actually, once I manifested all this free time, I'm like, I didn't know what the fuck to do with it. And I would create other things for me to do. And, my partner would call me on that. And it took me a long time. And now I just have so much spaciousness in my life. And, if we come back to the ego, actually the fact that I've manifested money, we could call that egoic, or we could say that has meant I've got enough spacious now to really support someone who's struggling, to be able to treat my kids to things they could never have imagined, to give my time, energy, and love to my friends and my family in new and beautiful ways, and to get the best inspiration, which comes from the void. So you have to be willing to do the things that are out of your comfort zone. I really remember just laying there when, like, I've only got 3 clients now, which is unheard of for me. And I'll just be lying there sometimes and I'm like, I just feel lazy. I remember that thought coming in. And then I'm like, well, what's lazy? And I remembered, my mum would call me lazy whenever I wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, I associate doing nothing with laziness. And now I have a new association with nothingness that I actually established through a process I went through in that moment of me realizing, fuck, I need to work with this. I did a process around it and it carried through the week. And now it's like, actually, from a place of doing nothing, everything is possible. And that's where my best ideas and inspirations come from. And that's the momentum of the business and, and of what keeps propelling things forward. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that last piece.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Well, we'll close there. We'll put a link to Ignite Your Power for those who feel drawn to what Raven was speaking about with shadow work. And thanks for joining us.
Maybe put a link to both of our sessions pages in case people are wanting to go really deep. Into the personal blocks. And there's a Living Tantra retreat that I'm running with Aaron and Tara in December in Costa Rica. And the retreats are a frigging amazing week of reprogramming, resetting, and just really becoming alive as who you are. So we're meant to see you. We'll see you there. And for those who this was enough, enjoy. I hope it was helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback. So please write down anything if you're listening to the replay or if you're live with us now.
Thank you. Thank you all. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Love, Sex and Freedom podcast. For more great free resources, in-person and online workshops, and our retreats, find us on Instagram and Facebook at Embodied Awakening Academy or visit embodiedawakeningacademy.com.